What to expect at year-end. Hello. There are a couple of items that need to be addressed at the end of each plan year, and today we will be covering those requirements. This will include the completion of the annual census request and how RPC uses the census information to complete the annual compliance testing. First, let's start with the census request. This requests basic information about the plan as well as employee compensation, contributions, and other basic employment information such as hire dates and hours worked. RPC uses this information to complete the required annual compliance testing for the plan. Shortly after your plan year ends, you will receive an email with a secure link to complete the census. For a calendar year plan, this email would be sent in the second week of January. It is important to complete this task as soon as possible to allow RPC time to complete testing and make any requested contribution calculations prior to the company's tax filing deadline, so that those contributions can be deducted on the corporate returns. We request the census be completed by the 15th day of the second month following your plan year end. For a 12/31 year end plan, this would be February 15th. As a reminder, we will always be requesting information for the plan year that was just completed, not the current plan year. Let's walk through some of the steps involved in completing the census. These steps allow you to review and confirm the company information RPC has on file for the plan. Any changes needed can be made by updating the information within the data collection area of the Plan Sponsor Link portal. Step 1 contains the company contact information, which includes the address and phone number for the company. Step 2 is the employer company data, which includes the EIN, entity type, and NAICS business code. Step 3 covers ownership information for the company. If you have a company that is owned by an entity, such as an LLC, the company will need to be listed and 100% entered as ownership. Any changes or corrections can be made by using the Edit, Delete, or Add buttons located here. Step 4 is about the family relationships. We need to know any employees of the company who are related to the principals listed in Step 3 to accurately complete testing. We only need information for those employed by the sponsoring employer. If they do not work for the company, we don't need their information. Step 5 is about business ownership. This is where information will be entered about any companies also owned by the principals of the company sponsoring the retirement plan. Step 6 is about plan contacts. This is where you will verify the current contact information for the primary plan contact, secondary plan contact, advisor, or payroll contact. Please note that you can only have one primary plan contact listed, but you can have multiple secondary plan contacts, payroll contacts, or advisors. You can update this information by adding a contact change request next to the contact you are wishing to change, or by adding a note via the upper right-hand corner. Please make sure that you save your changes once complete. Step 7 is the annual employer questionnaire. This section has several questions about the company and the plan, such as, is the company filing an extension on their tax return? This is very important for RPC to know so that your compliance testing and filings are completed in a timely manner. Another question is whether bonuses and commissions are included in compensation. This is also very important because it can affect the percentage of the employer contribution. We also ask if you would like RPC to calculate a profit sharing contribution, and if you would, there is another line to enter the total dollar amount. Profit sharing contributions are deductible to the company and can often be a great way to additionally compensate employees. Step 8 contains 5,500 questions. An important question in this step asks if the plan was covered by a fidelity bond. If your plan is not covered by a fidelity bond, you will be receiving an email from your RPC representative with more information about obtaining coverage. Step 9 is the employee census data. This is an Excel spreadsheet that contains information such as date of birth, date of hire, date of termination, compensation, hours, and deferrals for the year, as well as employer contributions. This spreadsheet can be exported so that you can update the information and then import it back into the system. You can also edit the current information by selecting the Edit button next to the employee you are wanting to update. If you select the plus sign in the top right, it will allow you to add an employee. Step 10 is the approval of the information you have provided. It will ask you to click Sign and Submit. It will also ask you to provide your contact information. A confirmation will be sent to the email provided. All of the information you provide on the census collection will allow RPC to complete the compliance testing. A few important dates to cover. If your plan is not a safe harbor plan, testing must be completed by the ADP ACP refund deadline, which is the 15th day of the third month of your plan year in case ADP or ACP refunds are needed. This date would be March 15th for a calendar year-end plan. If your plan is not a safe harbor plan, it is imperative that you complete the census as soon as possible to ensure this deadline is met. Employer contributions must be made by the tax filing deadline, and that does include extensions. The tax filing deadline for most calendar year-end plans is March 15th or April 15th. Therefore, if an extension has been filed, the deadline would be September 15th or October 15th. Please work with your company's CPA or accounting professional if you are uncertain of your tax filing deadline. The 402G limit refund deadline is April 15th. This is the annual employee deferral limit, which can change each year. RPC checks to make sure that there were no employees who went over the deferral limit, and if there were, refunds would need to be made prior to April 15th. If you have an employee that works for multiple companies and is contributing to the maximum IRS limits, please ensure they are not contributing to another employer-sponsored retirement plan, as these limits are combined per individual. This wraps up our presentation. Any questions that you have can be directed to your dedicated plan consultant. If you are not sure who your plan consultant is, or if you have a general question, you can always contact RPC's customer service line at the number or email address listed here. Thank you very much for your time.